You're in store for something wild, quite literally. There's a terrain setter on the team with the young grass. This is a Storm Tone team that I think it was the same team I just took off. It had like an Armor Rouge. I'm like, okay, it's a little too wild, Storm, especially with all these other guys on here. So I put Cinderace there just as a substitute. Just to, we'll make do. Right, you're probably weak to hella stuff, but we'll figure out what we're weak to when we see it. But low kicks was a fan favorite. Y'all really enjoyed that low kicks live, where we just absolutely ate. We ate every unsuspecting opponent where we at. Okay, not too bad. I think if I beat this guy, I won't be 19 back again. But within a few games, so I can put it in the thumbnail, of course. That's what it's all about, the thumbnail. So this thing is gonna be interesting. Low kicks upon you, Tiny, has it's phenomenal, really. It's very gorgeous, very handsome indeed. Cinderace. I didn't put the Terra types on here, did I? Oh, actually no. These have Terra Bug, Terra Ground. Okay, I guess Terra Ground is away. This is Terra Normal. Yes, so this one doesn't have a Terra type. Though I don't know if normal is relevant. I can see a case for it. Whatever. I'm gonna leave it at it's actually quite grass. Like I can grass him. Centennial can be, I can grass stab him. Especially because I think the terrain goes up first and I'll get the Giga Drain boost after the fact. Garchomp is a handsome set, as you guys will see in a few. And I may be able to just Azu him. I need Rotom beat down first. How do you want to go about this? I'm going to set up for an Azu win once I find out what the Rotom is. Spikes, rocks, knockout. Okay. So phase 1 is going to involve... Man, I should have led low kicks. I knew he'd lead Rotom. I'll take that. Sense? None here. None here. Sense has left the building because that did not make any. So we just discussed how, man, I talk to guys, I talk to y'all all the time about being able to, okay, why am I making this decision? I bet if I hit kinetic chain right here, I say, hey, bro, what was up? What were you trying to achieve there? I don't know. Because that made no sense. So we're going to gamble for the 2 reasons, right? If he's, actually, I didn't know I was booster. Let me change that. So you can still see it's Storm's team. Even though I changed, it said it was like max speed. What's my highest defense? So he goes Tusk on me. Tuscany. I do have the defense boost, meaning I can eat an EQ. But why would I do any of that shit if I have a fucking Arboliva? It could be fighting stab too. Cause I can ground and pound right here. Who says that? But he's like with rocks up or a spike up. He is what's it called? He is Azu bait, Azu fodder. All I need for him to do is lock his Dragapult. This choice, I'm sure. Lock his Dragapult in a move that I can just jet on. What do I want to do here? If it's a standard Tusk, if it's not, then I lose him on here. If it's standard Tusk, it won't have a move to hit me. The reason I switched out my Centennial last time, because knockoff and Earthquake are what most Tusk run in EQ. So Oster Zone, I could have E-powered there, truth be told. He's Assault Vest Zone, which isn't doing shit to me. He's going to set up this terrain. Oh man, I made you look like a fool. That's the damage I needed. Oh yeah, you turn out, bro. Yep, that's not doing nothing. Now give me this grassy terrain boosted. Oh man, look at that, 31%. Oh, that's doing nothing, kiddo. Nothing to me. And I get to go to Young Court Drive. Take this grassy terrain. Your Tusk is not seeing me. He's not seeing. Okay, I need to calm the fuck down. That body press actually did nothing. We're gonna rocks first. 2 reasons. The Tuscanado. I'll probably sleep him with this because like if I belly drum here, Earthquake would be the only move he'd have. So it allows me to go to my Garchomp. Actually, Ruskin. Yeah, so we're gonna body that Tusk. That does good damage, truth be told. Gets me the opportunity to spike. Leftovers, EQs, very interesting. I probably shouldn't get weakened for, I shouldn't be reckless. So he gets a double crit. This Garchomp play wasn't the best play, by the way. This was quite silly, truth be told. He goes Tusk. EQ did. The crit mattered a lot. It does mean that his Tusk is low enough to where low kicks, especially because he Rapid Spun, which was a foolish play. Very foolish indeed, especially because I can just core change the hazards back. So his Great Tusk is now super low. As I said, the game, I'm playing somewhat recklessly because I'm assuming Azu will be sweeping. He has Rapid Spin. He hasn't shown his other move yet. I'd assume it's Knock. I'm giving him some health. It's like, damn, why are you giving him health? I want to see what his other move is. Even if it's not Knock, I'm pretty sure the game's over. I want to wrap this up, especially because the Polt took the damage. I want to wrap this up. So what happens next is I go Azu and Belly Drum. Now, if that doesn't work by some... I mean, what could have Sash? There's no way to Valiant Sash. The only thing that could stop me is a Terra type that's... Like, even then, with the grassy terrain up, I actually get more health back. So yeah, I genuinely think... I don't see how... I don't go Azu here in Belly Drum, but if there's a way, I'm about to learn it, right? And so, in a typical game, I wouldn't be as reckless in the mid game. So EQ's there, which also confirms that he's very likely. So if he chooses to knock here, because the grass terrain's up, which has Earthquake, so that's doing nothing. If he goes for a knockoff, sure, I'll lose the Belly Drum damage, but that's not real. I mean, I'll lose the Citrus Berry, which means the Belly Drum is going to be weaker, but that's not really what's relevant. So yeah, it goes hard Gambit. I just Terra Water here and knock him out. He could be max speed, but he won't be able to knock me out from here. I don't even need to Terra Water. Let me run the calc on this. I'd prefer not to, because if I Terra Water, I'll lose my Fairy type if he suckers. Sucker wouldn't kill me. I mean, what do I have to be concerned? What's the one way he could? Would be to crit me with Sucker. If he Terra Dart, I guess. Because he took no damage. Okay, yeah. I mean, the likelihood of him being faster. Mazda has a lot of speed. Gambit's running enough to outspeed Corviknight. As I said, this was going to happen. It's just a matter of how quickly and how much information I needed to know. I no longer need. I can just. He actually Terra'd, which is a horrible play, because you get rid of your Dragon type. So if he was gonna survive the Aqua Jet, he had a 0 chance of surviving it. Then it's a horrendous Terra there. You want to keep it on the odd chance he could live, which I think Polt can. Without Terra Water, I think Polt has a decent shot to survive it. I don't remember how much. It's been so long since I've used Azu, but as we said, Azu was going to be that guy in that game. But do you see how Arboliva supported? He had the team on his shoulders, not on his back, on his shoulders. Why? Because he was standing tall. That hopefully made some sense. Similar game. Again, you ask yourself, okay, like let's say you have a team with some sweepers, right? In this case, Azu's my only setup sweeper. So you ask yourself, and this is something I've been doing in the training sessions. So all my guys who went through the training session, shout outs to my man. I'm not even gonna call their names, but you know yourselves. You look at your setup sweeper and say, okay, what conditions do I need met? Now, for you to know that, you'd have to play the meta game quite a bit, so you know the calcs off the top of your head. And you're like, okay, at +6, Azu does this much to this thing, this much to this thing. So I do, okay, here's one calc we're going to figure out. What conditions need to be met for at +1 my Azu to kill Hydreigon with Aqua Jet? Because we don't want to take any damage. So Hydreigon, the typical set, let's say, the typical set would be offensive enough to do some damage to us. And we're going to take the typical Azu and put it at +6. right? So Aqua Jet does 53 to 62, and with Terra Water does 71. So we need to get his Hydreigon at a minimum of 71%, then it will die. It's assuming it's standard. And we're gonna do the same thing for, oops, need to cancel out all these. Gonna do the same thing for Meowscarada, which probably dies from full. Oh shit. Yeah, I probably just need a little bit of damage on Meow. So okay. So that being said, we're going into the game thinking, okay, what other things win too? Cinderace is great, Predator is great, all these things are great. But those are the things you generally want to consider as you're going into a game. And so phase one in this is going to involve, I don't guard well against Iron Valiant, truth be told. Just realized that. So many win cons here, but I want to sweep with Azu. So what would give me the Azu sweep fastest? Okay, so phase one's going to involve Cinderace. The reason for this is we're probably always going to stare down Meowscarada in that situation. Cinderace is good. Cinderace is good, but very likely if he stays in Sasher, he's going to go for or he's going to go for U-turn. If he's not, he's banded, so we confirmed item on Meowscarada. I need to run this calc real quick. I can't believe I deleted all the work I put in. Azumarill. So that's all the work I put in to type in +6. Terra Water. Meowscarada. OU choice band, sure. Yeah, Jet pretty much kills after hazards. So it goes to Tusk. We've already shown the competence of my Garchomp, right? Like how gorgeously handsome Garchomp is. He doesn't have the again with this thing. Here's the thing about it. At least Storm would probably be better than Giga Drain here. I don't want to miss. If the Tusk has a fighting move, if it's defensive Tusk, it'll only have body press. Okay, so now remember we said 71 to 84. The Hydreigon has leftovers, so that's good information. I mean, I have my first impression. For it to have leftovers, I mean, that doesn't mean that it's not Nasty Plot. I really don't know what to expect here. Earth Power / Draco Meteor. I think to Nasty Plot would be a waste. Even if he does, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I just don't want him to Draco because I don't have the condition met for hazards yet. So I'm just gonna Giga Drain again. He U-turns. The reason I Giga Drained again there is because very low risk. If I hard switch to Cinderace, which is the only thing that could beat him and outspeed him, I'm glad Sterilage came in as well. Because this is one of the few things. Oh, this is beautiful. This is a beautiful thing. Because now he has to Bitter Blade. Oh yeah, pivots to me. Oh, that's phenomenal. I get to spike. Oh, your Flower Tricked with the Grassy Terrain up, and he got a crit with the Choice Band. Oh, he took full advantage of that. I love it. I love it. So now he took a ton of damage, and my Garchomp is he didn't take a ton of damage. I took a ton of damage, and my Garchomp is weakened, which is such a great play. So we're gonna go regressively into Lokix 1 because Lokix doesn't die, and I threaten with first impression. It's gonna take a ton. But the risk versus reward. Oh, he goes Valiant. I was expecting actually something else. But the risk versus reward for him is going to be in his favor. Meaning, I want rocks too, but I have no hazard control. Valiant. Well, if Valiant's Scarfed, let's see. It is Scarfed. So that's really good information because I set up Fighter for my Azu. So all the all the conditions are met because the Hydreigon can't even touch my Azu anyway. So I technically can sweep him. The preparations have begun, especially because he's CC'd there. So that's what I mean. We're thinking long term, right? The Hydreigon's low enough to where he CC'd fearing the drum. That's how you know you're in desperate straits because they're like, shit, I need to CC. Now what does he do? Now look at you. Because he only has one form of priority. Now what he could do is go to Tusk and Terra Water. If it's Terra Water Tusk. Because he has Sterilage. So I probably shouldn't have set up this early, truth be told. But I'm going to take my Sucker. No. Okay. Phenomenal. Yeah, but we already ran the 73. I mean, he'd need to. He's a bulky Hydreigon. I mean, with leftovers U-turn, so he might survive this. And now that I lost my fairy type, he can knock me out with the Draco Meteor. The game's far from lost, if that's the case, especially because I have my Garchomp still, and he only has a Great Tusk. And I have. I do want to be careful around his Goldengo. Okay, so it wasn't. It was probably just leftovers. So now he forfeits. Unless again it's Terra Water Great Tusk, but I doubt it. Otherwise he would have gone to it, or that solution hasn't arisen in his mind. So yeah. So I actually just realized he was 1856. But I say this all the time to the guys I'm training. I'm like, as you're watching my lives, is there anything that you see these 1800 players doing that you think somehow what he was doing was so far above you that you couldn't figure that out? How to beat him? You know, is there anything that I'm saying in the game explanations? Was the spike ultra complicated? Was that make you think like, damn, I don't know, man, these guys are just way above me? They're really not, right? The things that you're learning on this channel, the things that you learn from the books, from the one-on-one trainings, I promise you guys, when you implement that and actually put it in practice, it puts you so far above the average player. Like, it's insane. It's just that period where it's not quite clicking can be really rough on the ego. That's the only thing. Literally the only thing stopping. It's like, okay, how do I deal with loss? And I'm using a freaking Arbol, like low kicks. And again, I'm playing this very recklessly. I could have been more safe. Like me setting up freaking 3 turns in. It was part of it is like, okay, I kind of want to see what could happen to stop me, so that I can take that information and use it in the future, right? Like what, sometimes I'll set up and go, okay, what could happen? I don't think it can be stopped, but maybe it can. And then in the future, I'll go, okay, well, I need to make sure this, and this is dealt with, because last time I set up and then the opponent went to their Terra Water Great Tusk and killed me, right? He might have been Terra Water still and just didn't think about it. And, he's like, dang, looking back at the game, I could have went Great Tusk. Because Great Tusk naturally outspeeds, I think, even max speed Azu. No, you need some investment to outspeed but you need to be like Jolly. It's just nobody's running Jolly Azu. So the fact that nobody's on the ladder, I'd like to know your thoughts on the metagame at the present. I can tell the ladder definitely is less active, and I'm sure that has a lot to do with the bans. So I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on your current experience and what you'd like to see done or changed. You know, your thoughts are very valuable to your boy. So very similar context to the last game. And it's crazy because I'm like, Azu is not that good, but low key, it's that man right now. It's that guy. So Polt, again, what conditions do we need met? So play the game with me. What conditions does Jam need met in order to sweep with Azumarill again? So we're going to find out what the Dragapult calc is. So Dragapult +6, I need to be at 84, which is Stealth Rocks or Spikes. So the last guy, we said we shouldn't have let him Terra. So they did 63 minimum, so he couldn't live, but you still didn't Terra there ever. That was not the turn for it. But yeah, so let's break it down. Upon clicking the young Giga Drano, what are your solutions to that? He has very few. The only 2 resists are Goldengo and Gambit, which I can Earth Power upon. I probably could Earth Power straight up, truth be told, and slap one of those on Switch. I might if I'm feeling jazzy. But, you know, Behemoth Blade here is strictly for Goldengo and Hazard if I need him. Low kicks is just low kicking people to death. It's funny because I could lead it and sucker, but that's a low value play. If I sucker and he goes Great Tusk, I put myself behind. Or frankly anything else, but it's likely to be Great Tusk because that's the best switching he has. Cinderace's core purpose is going to be to control his hazard stack in case he wants to get freaky with the Tinglu. I can just switch them back. So that's protection. And the game plan is just to support Azu. And so the only thing we need is a belly drum fodder, which will likely be Dragapult. Or I guess Goldengo if he makes it rain. Belly drum fodder and really just rocks. I mean, I don't even know how Quick Eval might be able to stop me. I'm not sure on that, but that's what it's looking like right now. So Phase 1 is going to involve... I really want to go to my Garchomp here because that would put him in range, I think, of after he U-turns of... but I'm just going to Giga Drain. It would put him in range after he U-turns, assuming he does that. But he might randomly Dragon Darts. Not random, but... the reason I'm not going for Earth Power here, even though it could catch, so like right there, you would have lost enough health on him to where Aqua Jet will kill. I could have just Earth Powered there and killed this Goldengo, but the question is, what the hell is Goldengo doing to me? Bro didn't even know what was really good. He's forfeiting here. He's like, I've brought shame to my family. No, he's not forfeiting. Bro's a warrior. Giga Drain, okay. Giga Drain is doing half. Okay, let's send the race. Okay. We'll take back control this way. I wanted to time the grassy terrain. I didn't want to go Cinderace on the turn the grassy terrain is up, because he's very likely to go Tusk here. And I want terrain up with Tusk, because this sequence might happen again. What I'm going to do is he's going to go, he actually goes Tinglu. It makes very little sense. That makes very little sense. He should have went Tusk. Because now Tinglu and Tusk took a ton of damage, right? Because you want to think about what am I going to do next. But maybe you went Tinglu because you thought that I was going to fire stab. But you mean you had the Tusk literally for this. So as I said, this sequence is going to happen again. Now the difference is I'm going to Earth Power this time. Primarily because even if the Tusk stays in, I'll get enough damage. So Goldengo is gone, which is his most comfortable switch. And the problem is you don't even have anything to come in on me. So it goes Quaqua, the Quaquaval, and I got the Garchomp on deck with that young Dragon Tail. Oh, who uses Ice Spinner, bro? Bro, who uses Ice Spinner, bro? That then you're like, fuck, Garchomp 8. You're correct, it did. I just don't know if that's choice band. You're like, damn, when they do it, you're right. I think band should do more. Well, so here's the frisky thing that I'm about to. Do I leave this in? Because if I leave it in, go, odds I don't sweep because the Dragapult isn't low enough. What do I want to do here? Let's say he's not choiced. I'll go low kicks first. Aqua steps. Okay. So dude's like, okay, bro. I got you. Oh, word? Out of my sight. Oh, word? That's why you don't set up mindlessly, my friend. I am a low kicks. I am not to be disrespected. So this is an interesting sequence as well because for a couple reasons. I don't know what the Gambit 2 Fallen, but I still have first impression. So like I have a couple ways I could go about this. Iron Threads can take the hit. So what I'm gonna do is actually go Threads hard. If he's Terra Flying, what I'm thinking about is the first impression. I can first impression destroy him. So what I'm gonna do is knock first. If this guy stays into like, you can't make this stuff up, guys. That's fine though. You truly cannot make this stuff up. Bro stays into knockoff when I could have deserved it. But again, I made that play knowing, okay, if anything, this is still setting up for the end game, right? I'm gonna go hard Chomp here, even if he goes for Kowtow, it wouldn't matter. This allows for me to spike, says he suckers. Now I EQ and body him. Okay, suckers. But that gives me the Ruskin damage. First impression! You made quite the impression on me, but I had the solutions on deck. And so now you got to get rid of this Gambit. The problem is Low Kicks is still around. He's still thriving. Yeah, you got to go to Tusk. Not a problemo. Why? Why? Because Azu finna eat. Because now that your King's Gambit is switched out. Now, I would have preferred to have all my hazards. You know, not going to lie to you. Problem is, let's see, if he doesn't have a fighting move like what I'm assuming is the case. Yeah, Because you get grassy terrain here. If he does have a fighting move. So I'm thinking here he can only knock. But Giga Drain still to play. He goes pull, which is best case for me. Because now I got the damage I needed. So if he's Dragon Darts, as I said, setup fodder, right? We did discuss the setup fodderness of him. His U-turn did a decent amount. Okay. So Hex doesn't apply to me. Man, fucking this Centennial, man, is a monster. It's a monster. It's a monster. I love to see the fear in their eyes as mine are closed. Like, bruh, didn't you learn your lesson, young man? From the Goldingo? The fear in his heart. Yes. Yes. Yes, Tingle. Actually, I didn't like hey. I fuck with this guy. Dude's taking the you don't look normal, yo. He's not a normal guy. He's not a normal cat. You know what I'm saying? So he crits me with the kowtow, but let's see, sucker. First impression. I was just thinking if sucker would kill from 42. Could just go Azu and kill him with Terra Water. What's the shortest? It's the most. I don't want him to randomly be faster than my Azu and sucker me. And even if he Iron Head, you need Iron Head. Azu is the best bet. Liquidation definitely kills from here. And he's likely to feel pressured to stand because he maybe fears the belly drum, but nah, bro, has no fear. No fear. This doesn't solve anything. Like switching out there didn't fix anything. And so now we just liquidation. Yeah, so there's the Terra Water like last time. So he's bulk up, which isn't good. So I needed Centennial. Might get counter swept. If I do, I deserved it. Especially because he's faster than me. I didn't save any physics. How could I have forgotten about bulk up? How could I have forgotten about bulk up? How could I have forgotten about bulk up there? So my play was to set up. I literally, this was, I love it. I love it. How did I lost both Pokemon that would handle this. So I didn't need to sack my Centennial. I love it. That just completely slipped my mind. Now it's not over. I'm thinking, what would I need to do to... He's only at +1. I don't want to make sure that I'm not losing to Gambit in the end game too. So we're going to play rough here. He should have Rapid Spin. He knocks. Play rough's doing decent damage. I hope I live EQ from here. I might not. I need as much damage as possible because he needs to Rapid Spin too. Fuck. That's like a big fucking miss right there. Huge miss. But yeah, I fucking threw this game. So now I need yeah, because now Rapid Spin is doing 3 million. He just spun. But yeah, I need a crit to win the game pretty much, because that's not doing anything. Yeah, so that's game, because he's faster than my Cinderace now. But that was a really good loss. So that would classify in the realm of throw, because it wasn't outside of the realm of something that I could predict. Right? It wasn't like unfathomable bulk up Terra Water. Like that's something I use all the time. I just completely disregarded the Tusk because I was so confident I was going to win the game, which I did. How did I even lose my... Oh yeah, I sacked it to... It wasn't even to Dragapult. The Dragapult was... And that the beauty of it is that guy took most of my points because he was so low on the ladder. So, if there's any lessons to be learned here, is one that I learn very often on this channel is don't get cocky, right? Always think through the end game. Especially because that was a game where Centennial was just blowing people away. So if there's any I didn't like losing, it was that one. Not just because it was easily winnable, but because it was the one where it was literally just eating lives. So don't get cocky in the end, guys, and completely sleep on the opposing never and not consider the way the opponent could win the game. Because literally anything but Azu would have been better there. Why? Because everything else outsped it. The only reason he was in a position to even do anything to me is because he was faster. If I went Cinderace, I could high jump kick. So he couldn't get enough health back from the bulk up. He has to pick either Rapid Spin or attacking me. So I went low kicks. I got to do whatever move I wanted, really. And all of them would have done a lot. If I went to the Iron Threads, I could knock his item off and start EQing him down to the point where first impression can kill him, because he had to have his leftovers. If I went, so Azu was like the worst case. And if I had gone to something else to kill the Gambit or Rhino Calc there, I would have also been in a better spot. So I just wanted to make it clear that that was completely my fault and easily winnable game. So yeah, if you enjoyed, hit the like button down below, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.